2 of our Scum and Villainy game of daring space adventures. And last time we dealt with the mysterious case of a sort of disappearing slash rogue assassin. And at the very last moment of the bookkeeping, at the end of the session, we had our entanglements, and that was the Church of the Stellar Flame approaching you to kidnap the lieutenant, Lieutenant Liara of the 51st Legion, which is the hegemonic legion that's patrolling in this part of the galaxy. And they wanted you to kidnap this lieutenant and bring it to them. So you were approached by this shady church agent, and as far as I know, the reply was more or less like, "Yeah, our people will call your people. We'll get back to you." And then you this is the sort of amalgamated, short, like abbreviated version of what happened. Afterwards, you determined that you don't necessarily like the Church of the Stellar Flame, and you would like to, by proxy, mess with them. So you would want to bring in word to the 51st Legion, at least someone, or maybe to the lieutenant themselves, that the church is looking to nab them. And I was trying to figure this out, and I think it makes most sense that you would have gotten another job entirely that would take you to where you need to be to bring in the word, instead of doing the heist movie where the heist itself is getting into the lieutenant's office and being like, "Hey, they
Yeah, makes
they're gonna
sense.
they're gonna grab you." So you have some friends in in a different system. You've been in the IOTA system now for a little bit with Zenith, meditating with the Emerald Heart artifact recovered in last session, and Viper has been busy buying all the sheet metal in in the local stores, trying to get enough material to put together no doubt the fastest space racing vehicle in this sector. And Mushishi has been helping out a lot in different clinics and talking a big game. And you get word from one of your earliest sort of friends, I guess, in this sort of business, and that is the leader of the Cobalt Syndicate, Jax, Jax. Uh, Jax is, well, rather, the Cobalt Syndicate itself is it's a sort of a labor union. It's a collective of laborers that have started to move towards crime because their efforts, their actual like legitimate efforts, are bringing absolutely no fruit. So they're expanding their reach, basically saying that, okay, so if you're not going to bargain with us, we'll just take over this shipping route. How about that? Like, what do you think about that? So Jax, I think, originally got you the hover bikes, I think, and as a gift from a job that he did
Yes.
before. Uh, so he's always been a friend of yours, and he leads the Cobalt Syndicate, and you get word from him. And pursuant to that, you've gone to the RIN system, RIN, and on to the planet, which is called Aleph, ALEPH. And this system, RIN, is the sort of heart of the government in this sector. It is where the seat of the governor is, actually on a moon of Aleph. Why on a moon? Well, because Aleph is kind of a inhospitable hellhole, uh, covered in vast, drifting banks of poisonous gases. However, it is very rich in minerals, so mining is a big thing on Aleph. And the governor sits on the moon called Warren, which is the entire moon is covered in a city. So it's a giant city from where all the well-to-do folks govern this sector, and it's also a wretched hive of scum and villainy because there's a whole lot of people there, and it's quite the center for population as well as the governance. And there's a lot of folks who work on Aleph, and there's a whole lot of shipping going around here. This isn't the industrial center that is elsewhere in this sector, but this is where a lot of the minerals come from. And the Cobalt Syndicate was born from the mining business here on Aleph. And you find yourselves on Aleph. So you've left your ship at the docks here, and you've got your protective wear on, whatever that might be, and it's the fumes here are not exactly corrosive, so you're fine if you have like stuff to protect you. But eventually, of course, every filter and such will need to be replaced to do the wear. So you've met with Jax. Rather, we will start with you having met Jax, and he has told you you're here. By the way, just to roll back a bit, so you're here because from the church agent's intel for the kidnapping, you know that the Lieutenant Liara is going to be here on Aleph. On what business, you don't know, but you've come here because you know at least the church thinks that Liara is going to be here at some point. So you've come here pursuing a job or rather from Jax, and you've met with him. You're in basically an empty warehouse with Jax, a couple of his thugs, heavies on each of the doorways, posing there to like keep folks out. The Cobalt Syndicate, you can easily identify them, especially on this planet, by the blue stripes that they wear. It might just be like a bandana that they rolled up so that it's kind of like a stripe, and then it hangs off some of their clothing. But every single one of them wears a blue stripe somewhere on their person. That's how you spot them. And Jax is there sitting on a crate, and you're also free to position yourself wherever you want in this small empty warehouse. And he has just laid out his plan for you. And I suppose like we'll go into that, and then you can figure out what your plan is. So Jax is this, I suppose, getting on a bit with the age, a little bit of an older fella, a veteran of the mines, has this almost like pockmarked skin because of all the exposure he's gone through over the years. And he's wearing a very unremarkable blue overalls, and he has a space whiskey in his hand, and you are also offered if you want to partake. And he swirls it around, drinks it in one go, and says, "So again, thanks for coming. I really enjoyed what we did last time, and I hope you've enjoyed those bikes." And
Very much so.
yeah, I was looking to see you in the races, but apparently you took off. Have you been racing elsewhere in the system?
I had business, unfortunately. Work before pleasure, apparently.
Indeed,
Give us.
unfortunately, our
We
business has taken us elsewhere.
we needed the bikes for more of a utilitarian purpose than for racing. Hopefully, we'll get some fun out of them eventually, though.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's the whole point of all this, isn't it? To have some peace of mind and then to have some fun. Which brings me to the business. It's a little bit more direct than last time, but I think you showed enough spine that I feel quite comfortable talking to you about this. He pours himself another whiskey, drinks it in one go again. So you know the Ashen Knives? This is a statement more than a question from him. So you know the Ashen Knives?
We know of them.
Yeah. You know that they don't like you. Is basically the extent. You know that they're a syndicate, like a proper syndicate. They, well, you know how they do, and that might be a problem on some other day. However, the problem for me and mine is more with the how to say, the upper echelons of our hereditary business here on Aleph, by which I mean the mines, of course. So I've been looking to make some moves, and I was hoping you might be able to back me up on a thing.
What sort of moves?
Well, we need to well, of course, we need some bank, but that will come later. However, first off, we're going to need to start making some statements and putting out the idea that the Cobalt Syndicate isn't to be trifled with, and that we won't stand for the injustices anymore. The blatant exploitation, which I'm sure you're well aware of what's going on, Aleph. They put people in the mines with substandard filters and whatnot. They breathe the fumes for, let's say, 3 years tops, and then it's off into the protein vats for those guys. So I don't want that anymore, and a lot of us feel the same way. So and you know how these and he fishes around for, and he mentions a local word which means nothing to you, and he fishes around for like a, I don't know, like a galactic basic word for it, and there are these there's the planetary governor, which ostensibly is under the sector governor, and they govern the planet in his name, and this governor has a small army of these magistrates, I think is a word for it, that you would know anyway, not the minor slang, but these magistrates, I think you would call them, who I suppose you'd call them like corporate executives. I don't exactly know, but somewhere around that area. Anyway, these folks are responsible for regional operations on Aleph, and they're the types to they're the ones who well pick up all the cred, right, from the operation. And
so what is it you actually want us to do, Jax?
Well, here we go then. He pours another, doesn't drink it quite yet, but swirls it around in the glass and says, I was looking to go to this casino, the Green Sun it's called. A poor joke, because we don't get a lot of sun down here. When we do, it is through the poisonous haze, so Green Sun, right? So there's the Green Sun. It's being run by a Pasha. That's the regional boss for the Ashen Knives. And this magistrate right here, who runs this area, is in cahoots now, I've learned, with the Pasha. And that wouldn't be a problem, except I don't need the Ashen Knives putting their boot on my throat as well as the magistrates. So I want to make it clear to the Ashen Knives that getting in with the magistrates that are destroying my people is a no-no. So what I want to do is, and I have people following this magistrate because I have some sympathizers in the governments here as well. I know where he's going to be. He's going to be, rather, she's going to be in the Green Sun Casino, getting up to, no doubt, some villainy with Pasha. So I was hoping we go there and we take the magister and we execute her in public to put a point on it. This is a no-go. People know that it's the Ashen Knives running the casino, so they will know the context there. Me or you putting down the magister in the casino floor puts out the word Cobalt Syndicate is not having any of this.
So you want to make a statement?
Yes.
I see.
Strong statement.
Yeah. Mind you, I don't want to necessarily pick a fight with the Ashen Knives, but if it comes to that, then fine. The problem is the Magister getting into alliances with the Ashen Knives. And I think the Ashen Knives don't necessarily want to start a fight on Aleph either. But who knows? So how do you feel about that? And he takes the third class.
I'm all down with breaking into a casino. I'm all down with teaching someone a lesson. I'm less thrilled with the idea of executing someone, be it in public or not. I understand the statement you want to make. I can see that there's people dying around here every minute that we're talking about this. But I don't think executing someone in front of a load of rich people in a casino is going to win any sympathy for your cause.
What can you tell us about the person who you wish to execute?
Well, let's see. I think they're third cousin of the planetary governor, and went to the hegemonic academy on Warren. Come back with a safe spot in the local governance, taking whatever they can skim off all the mining operations here, which, just to put it in context for you, they cut every corner they can. That's not a big surprise in business, right? But it is on Aleph when you're looking at substandard equipment and working in a poison fume cloud.
So if you had to make a conservative estimate, how many lives would you say this person had cost?
I don't... Well, there's, of course, that's where you're getting into the details, right? This person is at least part of the reason, a big part.
I think
Why?
It's more the symbol that she represents than the individual's personal responsibility for individual deaths.
Yeah, there's
She's
a lot
part
of
the system. She's a cog in the machine.
Yeah, there's a lot of scumbags up that chain. So she's not the only one. However, she's getting in with the Ashen Knives, and I can deal maybe with the government on one side and the Ashen Knives on one side. I can't deal if they shake hands.
See, I agree with our good doctor that just executing someone who is just a cog in the machine seems a little extreme. Now, if we're executing someone who has taken many other lives, that's less of a problem for me.
Okay. Well, tell you what, I have a different proposition for you. Let's say we put the Magister on the side.
Very well.
How about we take one of the Taskmasters? More direct responsibility. They're the ones in the sort of, I suppose, non-Cobalt mines, because we do have a lot of influence around here. In the mines where we don't, they have these extremely bloodthirsty types, right? Who crack the whip, and they make examples like I'm trying to do out of the folk when they complain, when they are trying to have their, I don't know, meal breaks or something, when they're trying to have fresh filters in their gear. How about we take one of those?
And do you believe that will make an adequate example?
It's not the same thing. It's a lesser problem for me. It will bring in more support for me and mine. Whereas if we go into the Green Sun, we take the Magistrate, we gun her down on the floor with the casino and everyone looking. And that makes a point that we're not having any of this. However, if we go out there, we take one of the Taskmasters, string it up on a pole, we're gonna have a lot more friends in that area.
What do you think about this idea, Dr. Viper?
I'm afraid taking one person responsible for a great many murders and murdering them and another is still the same to me. I really do understand the point you want to make, but I don't think murdering people's the way to make it.
I appreciate
when
that.
I see your people, when I've served in your clinics here, and I see people coming from the streets who are going to die in the next few weeks because of what's going on here, I want to go out and lynch someone. But I don't think it helps fix the system.
Yeah, it won't. I have no delusions about the fact that if I gun down the Magistrate and in a casino, it's not gonna magically fix everything over time. However, there will be gradual.
What do you think,
Success.
Viper?
I think it sends a clear message. Some people think twice, I think, before acting again. It's definitely not a long-term solution, but it definitely would give you probably a little bit of leeway.
If we can kill one person and save many, that seems a reasonable transaction to me. Although I understand why it would not sit well with you, Doctor.
I'm always going to stand by my team. I understand that sometimes we have to do things that we don't want to be doing, really. I can't think of a better reason to go and kill someone. So how's this? I'll promise to back you up and keep you guys standing, and I'll promise not to interfere with whatever happens to the person we get hold of.
That sounds reasonable.
Tell you what, if you have ideas on how to advance our cause here, I'm all ears. I'm not the high and mighty leader standing on top of my mountain and yelling down the commands from there. If you have ideas, if you're down with the cause, please.
We are interested, Jax. Perhaps you'll give us some time to discuss this amongst ourselves.
Of course, of course.
It's a little more bloodthirsty than the deals we usually kind of pick up, but I can definitely see why you want it done.
Yeah, well, I'll leave you with these, and he leaves 2 bottles on the crate where he was sitting. Rather, he opens the crate, and it's just whiskey.
Thank you.
So he's like, help yourselves, I'll I'll be outside. So he skedaddles out of the warehouse with his toughs, and they're outside, and leaving you to discuss amongst yourselves.
So what do we think then?
I think we should get hold of someone, be it the magistrate or one of these taskmasters. I think we should get some more information on the system and how it works for him from them. And I think maybe we should try and put them in some sort of trial. I've no idea what further power we would have after that. And I suspect we'd be putting our bounty hunter shiz in quite a lot of danger, like our license.
Well, strictly speaking, we only have the ability to undertake legitimate bounties, which this clearly isn't.
Would we know that?
Yeah.
Sorry, GM, would we know that for a fact? Is this definitely Black Book's work?
It does sound like it. It would take some work to make it stick, so to speak.
Right.
I'm not worried about us taking on a mission that's not kosher. It's just like, if we're going to murder someone, make sure that they've had at least some semblance of a trial first. And it sounds like it might be a lot more useful to go and kidnap this like dumbass woman who's basically some fucking rich teenage girl who's been handed a desk job that she doesn't understand, and go and show her what is actually going on as a result of what she's doing, and then let her go and see if she can maybe try and fix the system from within, or at least help people a bit here. On the other hand, if you guys want to go and just like grab someone by the hair and pull them out into the street and blow their brains out, I'll still stand by you.
That's probably a little bit too primitive for our particular way of doing things, but our last job was had a bit of finesse to it.
Indeed, however, if we're attempting to grab hold of someone in a position of authority, it's going to be a lot more difficult than surprising a lone person in a bathhouse, and even that wasn't easy.
As a side note, I do quite like the proposition from Musishi. The very much your crew, I feel like, would be to like, hey, let's kidnap this person, take him to the mines, and like show her like what's going on in the streets.
Yeah, but let's grab hold of her and give her a day's work in the mines. Seems like the best medicine for this particular ailment.
However, does that make the statement that Jax wants?
Jack's
Would you be
crew-
happy if we got the
Is
same
the
effect
statement-
without killing them?
Is the statement that he wants the right statement to be making to get the ends that he needs?
I don't really feel I'm qualified to answer that question.
Nor do I, and therefore I'm going to take the path of least harm if it's available.
It's all the same to me. Whichever. Both
Okay,
solutions
so-
have their merits.
How many people has he got that he can like help back us up with? Because he's part of a fairly big gang. If we get hold of this person, I'm assuming that there'll be some sort of backup for us from them. We won't be entirely on our own in this.
you know that he has a whole bunch of miners and dock workers and all kinds of folk.
I believe we should perhaps move on to the planning stage of this mission.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so when Jax comes back, if Viper is okay with whatever option, and Zenith doesn't necessarily feel like, for whichever reasons that he has, that he's maybe not the best person to gauge this, and Musishi has both a suggestion and an ethical stance, yeah, I guess that's the default then.
Well, Viper just doesn't have a reason to stick his neck out for this person. As far as he sees it, this is our target. Killing them or bringing them is sort of logistics. Preferably alive. It's just cleaner, but
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things that you could do here as far as like how do you want to plan this whole thing, because if you wanted to, you could, if you wanted to go and murder this person, you could position yourself in, I don't know, a tower of some kind of tall building and just snipe her in the street.
Yeah, my main
That's
my main issue is the fact that if it's realised we're behind this, potentially we'll be bringing a lot more heat down on ourselves, whereas the straightforward assassination seems the simplest solution to get the result that Jax wants. I'm not saying it's the right solution, I'm just saying it's the most expedient.
Solution.
That seems to be very much like what Jax is going for. Like, go for the like quick hammer blow, like straight to the forehead, like no subtlety at all.
I think performing a public execution of a public figure is going to bring a lot of heat on us.
Only if we're caught. If we do it from a distance using a sniper rifle or something
the
similar.
public statement that he's asking for requires somebody to be there saying why that trigger is being pulled.
True.
Otherwise, there's no point in doing it. She's just shot in the street, then she's been shot in the street by a crazy. If she's grabbed and it's explained that she is being killed to fight the power, save the little guy, blah, 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 whatever, however you want to word it, that's the reason she's being executed. And then it's an execution, not an assassination.
I'm sure that Jax's plan is that once this person is dead, he will put whatever spin on it he needs for his purposes.
Would you really like to go and kill her, John?
I generally have no strong feelings either way.
Fair enough.
I would very much be down for, like, let's bag her and go give her the run around, like show her everything and try and like kindle that I suppose sympathy in her rich golden cold heart.
Could I try another angle just for a moment? Is there a way for us to find out if there's any already active bounties on this person?
If you wanted to roll, I think we could. If you want to do a background check on her, we can try and figure that out.
What role would this be in this case?
You let me know. How do you go about this?
I'm gonna go kind of more. I'm gonna come at it from a more kind of underworld perspective, and see if there's any other people interested in this person being taken out, and then see if I can find any legitimate sources as I work my way up.
Ooh, okay.
That's gonna be Skulk. I think that would work.
It's certainly worth a try.
Yeah, you
Is
can
this a
definitely
risky
do it.
proposition, or are we staying with that, or?
Yeah, I think risky.
Okay.
Just
Standard?
standard stuff.
I guess I get a little something, something.
Yeah. Well, you get a little something failure is what you get. Well, here's the thing.
I don't like it when you say that. I don't like that. So here's the thing: you find something out, but it's not what you want to know. Oh, great.
Not only is she, I suppose you go and you look and you start with her background on Warren, the moon of Aleph, which is where like this governmental seat is, and the academy that she went to. You start there, and you figure out that actually she is not only related to the planetary governor here on Aleph, but she's also related to the actual sector governor. So she is family, although it might be slightly distant, but she is family to, let me get his name, Ritam al-Malklaith, who is the sector governor in the hegemon's holy name. So she has family in very high places, and as a result, you find that there is, let me just quickly reference this. So she is a part of House Malklaith, and as a result, there are actually several underworld groups with interest in probably holding her for ransom. Not so much with the murdering, that seems to be Jax's deal, but you figure out if you pull the right strings, you could probably try and engage in some bounties for the Ashen Knives, though that might be because they don't really like you, but the Ashen Knives have a vested interest in bagging her as well. They also, you could probably pursue what's called the Lost Legion, which is something that you heard a fair bit about being in the Legion yourself, the 51st one, that is. The Lost Legion is a sort of renegade hegemonic legion fragment that disagrees with the current hegemon. They are a renegade hegemonic army. And they, because they disagree with the government of the galaxy, they would also be interested in maybe holding her for ransom or favors or something. And then there's just pirates, like pirates galore in this system, would be very interested in bagging her and holding her for ransom, because the governor is going to fork up that cred.
I'm thinking maybe a kidnapping and ransom may be more profitable.
Why don't you see if you can use your contacts to make contact with the Lost Legion and see if they're interested?
I could do that, yeah. Slightly reluctant. There may be unintended consequences, I guess, in this job. There's always the chance for that, right?
Well, if you need some help, I can back you up. I do have some knowledge of the hegemonic military myself.
I'm also attracting the wrong kind of attention. But if you want, I could reach out. I mean, I don't have a preference for this person. Don't really know him, but there's a lot of people interested in this person. Not just Jax. In fact, Jax is probably one of the smaller fries.
Yeah, Jax probably doesn't know about this other bloodline that converges in this person.
But what I'm hearing is that her family are probably not going to let it go if she gets murdered bloody in the streets. A lot of poor people are going to get murdered in response if that happens.
Could be.
Oh, yeah.
In which case, I suggest you reach out to your contacts, Viper.
Yeah, I'll flirt them with a carrot of potential. If we bring this person in, would you be interested in a little something?
Okay, yeah. So you don't have in your space Rolodex, you don't have the Lost Legion.
No,
So,
I don't.
They are illegal in the most severe of ways.
Oh, can I come at it from another angle then?
Yeah.
So we ain't getting a legal bounty from them then?
No, it would be an unmarked cred stash left in exchange for this individual.
How about I know someone who used to be in the Lost Legion?
Oh, yeah.
He's a mutual contact of us all.
Yeah. So why did they leave the Legion?
Uh, they
Too old for
basically
this shit?
no. I know why. It's a very human reason. They got a partner and they started a family, and they wanted
Okay,
to.
so someone who got tired of fighting the hegemony.
Yeah, just like
Someone
they
who
wanted to
got
do something that
pregnant.
they could be around for the kids,
Yeah. Well, yeah, someone who started a family.
I'm
Okay.
thinking, Triv, the ship mechanic that I know, would possibly be the legit.
Okay. So yeah, do you want Triv to be this person?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking,
Okay. Yeah.
possibly.
Okay. Cool.
Just
So
as like, oh yeah, I was at the Lost. I served in the Legion. Oh, I was at the Lost Legion. It kind of came up at some point, even though.
yeah, and then you did the whole like like pulling finger guns
Yeah.
while both suspecting maybe there's actual guns.
Yeah. Hey, oh, dude, they don't need us. They're loaded.
Yeah.
Easy.
All right. So please have a roll as you go and out and because we're just condensing this a bit to get to the thing. So give me a roll to search out and get this deal going with Triv.
I'm gonna use sway in this case.
Okay.
I'm kind of persuading them, being a bit ballsy, being like, come on, this will be a great deal for the Legion. You get a bit of like cred back from them, you know what I mean? Like they'll appreciate it. So I'm gonna take some extra stress for this roll because I don't want to mess it up. That's two. Is it 2 stress to get a bonus die?
Yeah, 2 stress for pushing yourself.
Okay, I'm gonna push myself because I need to do this. This is risky. In this case.
I think it's desperate because you're trying to have someone who left the betrayers, trying to ransom.
That's fair.
There's a lot here going on, so I think desperate.
There's a lot of potential. Any bonus die?
For
just being
I think just because they are your. I don't remember.
I was going to say
called.
if I can assist here anyway, because obviously I do have some small military connections via my old family connections.
You can get 1 stress and give 1 more dice to Viper.
Okay, have another dice, Viper.
Thank you so much. Boom, baby.
Oh, there we go. So
that's
it's
weird.
not.
Shouldn't I have rolled 3 dice?
I'd say you should have had 3 there, mate.
I don't know why I didn't add the extra one. I'll do it manually.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It's desperate. So you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer severe harm or serious complication occurs. Okay.
This would be the point where I'd be like, oh yeah, your friend did leave the Lost Legion to have a child, and it's yours.
Yeah, you forgot you had a partner.
Oh no, my baby daddy.
On Aleph. Okay, so let's see. Let's see about this. Okay, so the complication, which you can resist if you want to, the complication is going to be that because the Lost Legion will have to come in and get this person, pick them up, because what you're doing now is you're exchanging Jax as a client to the Lost Legion as a client, right? Because you're trying to pawn off this person to the Lost Legion.
Proxy, yeah.
Why are we bringing these big scary guys into this?
This was your idea, Doctor.
No. I just didn't stop you looking into whether there was a legitimate bounty. If there isn't a legitimate bounty, maybe let's not bring the big scary guys into this, because they're going to want the money at the end. What's Jax going to get? Fuck all. What are we going to get? Fuck all. She just gets kidnapped by the Legion. It doesn't help Jax and it doesn't help us.
I presume you mean aside from the satisfaction of knowing that a job's been well done.
Yeah, and that we've We've palmed off the repercussions of the kidnapping onto the bigger bad boys.
But
I
she'll
suppose
just get
that
replaced with someone else, and Jax won't get any help.
Yeah, I suppose if you wanted to, you could turn this from like, let's help Jax advance his cause here with the Cobalt Syndicate, into let's do a job for the Lost Legion, get some dough, because the Legion will probably like give you stuff because you gave them this token in their like political play, and you will be most assuredly safe in the knowledge that the Legion isn't gonna murder her because they need her alive. She's a pawn in this game that they're playing. So if you hand her off to the Legion, the Legion will probably reward you, and then we can figure out later like what to do to help Jax. Like if
We could
if
just
you
give
want to
him a
help
portion
Jax,
of the profits if we want to. There's an
yeah, if you
option
wanted
there.
to give Jax cred afterwards, that's the thing.
Okay.
No, I'm just trying to put the pieces together here.
Again, the kidnapping the woman part of the plan wasn't the important part of the plan. The getting some like damage done to that system was the important part of the plan, as far as like Jack seems to be concerned.
Yep.
I think unfortunately Jax was miscalculated. Removing, as you said, Doctor, removing someone in a middle management position isn't going to damage the system. It's one cog in a tiny cog in a machine.
Which is why I'm saying we need to show her the machine so that she can change it from the inside.
Which is a fine and noble idea. However, I'm aware that us attempting to do that is enmeshing us even further into this scheme and getting us more involved.
So what's the plan then?
Well, do you have any suggestions, Doctor, as to how we could kidnap said person and show them the error of their ways, for argument's sake?
Well, we've got all these people that are in the Kobold Gang or related to the Kobold Gang or whatever. We can show this person firsthand what's going on under them, exactly how they're working. We can get hold of them. Similarly, we could get hold of them and hand them over to some other group for money. That is what we do. If that's what you want to do, by all means, let's do it. Either way, we need to work out how to get hold of them at the casino.
I agree.
Okay, so I think at this point, let's figure out the plan and cut to the thing, and then we'll do what
So
Bill
does
O'Reilly
Jax
says.
have any contacts in the casino? Because he specifically said that he thinks she's going to be weak there.
Yes.
Perhaps
Jax's
a private room, a private game of some sort.
Yeah, Jax's plan seems to be infiltrate, probably with like staff uniforms or something. Like get in all sneaky like, and then like jump her at the poker table and be like, "Hey, like you've done these great wrongs against the working folks on Aleph, and now you will suffer for your crimes." And then
I was thinking more just stick a bag over her head and take her out a back room while we're in the casino.
Yeah.
We can start preaching at her later.
Yeah, I mean that's but like Jax's plan seemed to be like get in, get at her very publicly, put her down, cold blood, and basically like toss a blue stripe of cloth on her and get the fuck out.
So what we're suggesting is infiltrate the casino, kidnap the target, and then expose her to this horrendous environment the workers are in. Is that correct?
Pretty much.
Yeah. I'm down.
She's
That seems workable. What do you think, Viper?
I think it's a very noble plan, but it doesn't take into account this person being an asshole.
Oh, if they're an asshole, then I thoroughly endorse you handing them over to the other Legion.
I just feel we should, considering their family.
They
now,
are
we
going to
should-
be an asshole for a while because they're an entitled rich brat from the sounds of things.
we should,
They've been
anticipate
handed
that.
this massively important job when they're straight out of fucking college or whatever it was called, straight out of space college.
But I love this kind of intricate.
They've clearly got no
whole
clue
plan.
of the responsibility that they've got, so they need to understand what their responsibility is. They don't. By all means, kill them. At this
Okay.
point.
And also, Viper, the consequence for your thing there, because you set the thing up like if you can produce this magistrate and hand her over to your contact, the former Lost Legion, I suppose the Lost Legionnaire.
Yeah.
There's a bounty there for you, and because you set this side thing up, the Lost Legion is going to have to come in and pick her up eventually. So there's going to be some Lost Legion activity going on here, which means that if and when shit kicks off, there's going to be some
What have I
drastic things maybe going on. So like when the local authorities, like essentially the hegemony, when they start like putting out the alarms and stuff, because the Lost Legion will have come here to wait for your your bounty maybe, there might be a bunch of conflict that kicks up as a result of that.
So things
So-
get a bit tense.
Yeah, things might get tense, and also the like state of alarm, if and when it kicks up, it might kick up very high quite quickly, because there's a bunch of factors at play here, and you've just increased the stakes by bringing in the Lost Legion.
This is exactly what should happen.
Yay. Cool. So what is your plan? And to remind us of what these things are, it's your plan to execute this this glorious mission.
Mine pretty much comes down to casino, pillowcase on head, elevator. Like food elevator or service elevator. I suspect it will be a lot more complicated than that, and that the other two will want to put something in on that.
No, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, here we go. So is this an assault? Is this deception? Is this infiltration? Is this mystical? Is this social or transport? Which is the plan that you're yeah? And to be sure that we all understand, your concept here is bag this woman and show her the things that are going wrong in an effort to make her become a better person about this whole thing. So what is your plan to achieve that?
I would say it seems either deception or infiltration, because we're either infiltrating the casino to kidnap her, or we're attempting to deceive everybody long enough to grab hold of the magistrate and skedaddle out of there.
Yep. So the difference being that deception is you go in and you're like, I am a totally normal person with no hidden agenda in this casino. I'm doing a normal person thing here. And then infiltration would be you guys in balaclavas coming down the chimney being like, Echo 36 in.
I think deception seems more likely.
Okay.
I was
'Cause-
thinking if we could somehow host like a private poker game or something like that, or a private gambling event.
Oh, see, that sounds more like social to me, because that's more like bargaining and like negotiating. That could be
and
interesting.
invite them in, and like one of us could be working as the like the card guy, the dealer,
Deal.
and I'm just thinking that's something a bit different. Something like I have a feeling she'll be able to spot a bounty hunter a mile away. This person. It's just the
Okay,
vibe I'm
so
getting.
I'm liking this. So we're pulling off like casino space royale here,
All
right?
my Ocean's 11 fantasies are coming true.
I'm down with this. So let's go with the social. So you guys
Uh-huh.
are doing this thing. So
My reasoning is since we are the good doctor is instilling a certain level of moral kind of substance to the team, so we wouldn't just go in and blam blam blam. We try and getting it out without causing loads of harm to people who aren't involved in the target. So kind of like
yeah,
getting them on their own and
I think that might be deception, but we can use the vehicle of Casino Royale here. So you all get quote unquote undercover in that you get into your casino evening gear, I guess, and
I'll put on my best robe.
cool. So let's see. So the detail being that the method of deception is that you're blending in. You're trying to be individual who should be at the casino, and then you're going to try and
Yeah.
whatever it is that you end up doing. But that's that. So what
do
is
we
your
have like
low?
a picture or like a visual of this person? We know what the target looks like.
Yeah, you will have been provided that. Let me do a very quick search. If I cannot find it, then that's fine. But
That is
she's
kind
a
of
young woman. Pretty much you've got her kind of figured out in that she's recently graduated. Family nepotism got her the job.
One thing, Viper.
She's like that Kardashian from the Pepsi advert.
Oh no!
One thing, Viper. If we're going to be disguising ourselves as high rollers, we'll need the resources to be able to do that.
No, we're working for the casino. Like we're like the employees. Well,
I
yeah, I
see.
see your
Very
point.
well.
I see your point, though. We might need
However,
to.
I'll be willing to put up one of my two lots of cred for the evening, since we're on a good cause and I have rather pressured you out of the profitable part of this mission.
I'm quite willing to throw in one of my cred dots as well.
Sure. Why not?
Right, so we'll have Zenith as a high roller, Mushishi and Viper as casino staff.
Plus, as my character sheet says, I can't resist a game of chance.
Yeah.
So Zenith is a high roller, and then we have Viper. I think you wanted to be the dealer.
The car dealer, yeah.
Yeah. Musashi, do you have a preferred station?
Got to be the cocktail waitress,
Yeah,
so I
I
can
was
yeah.
stick
thinking that,
something
I
in
was
someone's
thinking-
drink.
Yes.
Yes.
Bada bing, bada boom.
It's all coming
Yep.
together.
Yep.
I'm definitely not going to have an extra pack of cards up my sleeve and be using the way to royal flush.
Oh, it's
Absolutely not, John.
flush again. Okay, I think I found an image. Let's see.
Would this be the time to point out that if gambling comes off Skulk, I'm going to be piss poor at it?
Yeah, you're free to determine how that goes.
Okay.
As with most things, you have the final say in which attribute you're using, and
Okay.
then I will try and gauge like how well that will go. But if you wanted to scrap, then maybe scrapping isn't the proper thing to do here. But
Which is unfortunate because my prowess is quite substantial.
also, because we've kind of moved on from it twice now. Viper, did you want to resist the consequence of the Lost Legion becoming involved and the potential state of alert being quite substantial?
Yeah, I'll try. I mean,
Yeah. So I think that might be off of your either resolve or insight. I think would be most fitting for that resisting roll. And to remind us of what this is, the resisting the consequences always works, but it costs you 6 stress minus your highest die result.
I'm gonna go with sway. I'm gonna try and.
No,
sway
you're
my-
going with one of the 3 attributes: prowess, insight, and resolve. So one of those.
It has to be the lowest, isn't it?
Yeah, no. Either insight or resolve. I think.
Then yeah, it would have to be sway.
No, it's not sway. Sway isn't on the menu. Insight or resolve.
Oh right, of course. Sorry. Yes, it's the main
Yeah.
the main head. Sorry. Yes, I get you.
The sort of categories instead of the actual items on the list.
I'll go resolve. My bad.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
I'm gonna try. Here we go. Ooh.
Nice. No problem. So you make a plan for the extraction that doesn't involve the high stakes potential, and you get no stress either. So, yay. Good.
Maybe it's just because I understand how much bad news this Legion will be if they turn up.
Yeah, it sounds like a very bad idea to bring in.
I was reluctant to reach out, but I was like,
Yep.
yeah, the job's a job.
Yeah, you were reluctant for a reason, and then you planned for the eventuality. Okay. Okay, here we go. There's the magistrate. Righto. So your load, which again is how many items you can conjure during your mission, and I would again like to highlight that anything more than light load is you carrying stuff that you might not carry as a regular person in a casino environment, especially in the roles that we have chosen.
What do we think? Light.
And that isn't to say that you can't choose that, but you will stand out more if you're carrying your I don't know, heavy blasters and crossbows and vibro axes. Okay, so everyone going with light load? Yep, coolio. Let's see. Okay, yeah, and we entirely botched, and rather I botched the gambit stuff last time, because every time you roll a 6, you get a gambit, and we didn't track that at all. And we start with one.
And I rolled shitloads of 6s.
Yeah, we rolled a lot of 6s. So I will try and keep that in mind, and feel free also to do that yourselves. So we start with 1 gambit, and that is an extra die that you can take. Or, John, you can activate your way powers with a gambit for no stress. So that's an additional use. That you
Go on.
Yeah. Alrighty then. So
get rolling them 6s, guys. I can do without like another obsession or trauma.
So let's figure out this engagement roll. So is this operation particularly bold or daring? I think it is, because you're taking the highest of roads. So I think it is definitely. So you start with 1 that's +1 for being bold and daring. Is this operation overly complex or contingent on many factors? I think yes, it definitely is. So back to 1. And does the plans detail explosive vulnerability in the target or hit them where they're weakest? Yes, because you're integrated into the very environment where they're going to enjoy themselves. So I think definitely yes. So back to 2. Is the target strongest against this approach? Nah, not really. Can any of your friends or contacts provide aid or insight for this operation?
Well,
Are you
presumably
Jax out of this?
No. Presumably, if we can get
No,
Jax,
we need Jax on side.
we need a pre-arranged time. We need Jax to cause a distraction for the rest of the people in the casino while we're bagging the magistrate. So we get the game going, everything's nice, high roller, you know, we're playing a few games of space poker or whatever. At some point, Jackson and his homies cause a massive distraction while everyone in the casino's like, oh my god, the casino's under attack or whatever. That's when we grab the magistrate and
Yep. Okay. So Jax will give you the third die because he's on board. Are any enemies or rivals interfering in the operation? Yes. It's the Ashen Knives casino, and they don't like you. However, they're not exactly enemies yet. So that's a bit of a...
I like the way you say yet.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, depending on how this goes.
I think they will be after this.
Yeah. So I think we'll keep it at 3 because they're not exactly your enemies right now. Are there any other elements that you want to consider? I don't think not necessarily. So
I would like it to be taken into consideration that my character is a practiced gambler. Since one of my vices is I spend a lot of time gambling because I see games of chance as the way manifests in the universe. So I'm presumably at least accustomed to gambling, even if I'm not particularly good at it.
yeah, I guess at least you and Viper would be very convincing because you have spent a lot of time
Because
gambling.
we're players.
It's literally how you relax. So hey, yeah, let's go with that. So someone please give me I think, is there an engagement roll functionality in the sheets? Maybe not.
There's a fortune roll, if that's any good.
If you can input a custom number of dice in it, then yeah,
Right,
just roll that.
Yeah, number
So
of dice.
That's a 4.
Right, who wants to roll it then?
Is this so? What is this roll for again? Just to
This is the engagement to see we're now cutting into the action, and this determines the state of the action as we start.
Yeah, this is where things start going wrong and we like jump into playing
I
it.
think you should do it, John, because you know the way.
Okay, so 4 dice. Boom, 5 and a 6. Does that give us an extra gambit?
Yes. I will now refer to the gambit rules so that we get it right. Gambits.
Where are the gambits actually recorded? Sorry.
I wonder if it's on the ship.
Okay, let me just have a look.
Yeah, on the ship.
Okay.
In the sort of middle,
Boom, 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 boom.
under engines.
Oh, I see it, yeah.
Uh,
So we didn't use the gambit last time, so we'll have 2 to get 1 for the start of every job.
yeah, it resets to 1.
Oh, right, okay, so
yeah.
presumably we've just got an extra 1 if...
Yeah, I'm now trying to figure that out. Gambit. Index. Well, that wasn't helpful. Here we go. In addition, every time you roll a 6 or a critical result on a risky action that you haven't spent a gambit on, you get a gambit. Okay, cool. So you get another gambit, so you have 2 to start
Sweet.
with.
Yeah, noted.
Yeah. So that is dice available to all of you. And John, you can, as I said, you can activate the way for free. Righto. So you are in a control position again. You are on top of your game, it seems. So as we open, we cut away from the fairly intense ethics and planning session, and we cut into the Green Sun Casino. So we have the
Play that same song again.
in the corner, space jazz, and everything's fairly glitzy here. You have crystal chandeliers, and it's very blatantly, everything here is imported because there's very little like nice stuff that like is organic to this planet. So everything's sort of imported, like ebon wood, polished to a mirror sheen. There's extremely nice fixtures on the walls. The floor is all carpeted throughout with the symbol of the green sun everywhere. And you have different tables of different games of chance here. A lot of them are fitted with hollow functionality, so you have different kinds of very immersive and large games going on as well. And then you have the classics on the, I suppose, the more like lounge side of the casino, where you have chosen to position yourselves in, being the high roller in the, let's say like it's because we already have this from Viper, right? So a card game of choice for the discerning gambler is the hegemonic tarot, and so you're at a tarot table, and you're playing the part of the high roller. So you have like just stacks and stacks of actual. Well, I suppose they would be you wouldn't have credits on the table. You would instead have tokens which represent different values of credits. So you have like stacks of tokens.
Yeah, like chits.
Yeah, chits, and then Viper is there in in the dealer's seat, putting out the tarot cards, and Mushishi is buzzing here and there with the cocktails. And your idea was to get close to the magistrate. So she is at the table playing with everyone. So let's say there's 6 players at the table currently, and it functions in that way where like everyone gets some cards, and then there's the communal cards on the table which everyone can use to make combinations of cards, and then it's a game of betting and bluffing from there on. At least this particular format of the tarot.
I assume at the start, as we start playing, like I will be sort of doing the whole bluffing thing, but I'll be deliberately doing it badly to sort of draw the magistrate in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so sort of like deliberately throw a few hands just to like draw her in. So she thinks, oh yeah, I'm building my pot up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So as you're playing, and you're trying to lose strategically to get her in a good mindset, I guess. Please let us have a roll. So this is the conclusion of your campaign of losing, and we'll see how that has gone.
Also, make sure there's like plenty of drinks knocking about. You know, if the doctor happens to like slip something into one of the drinks, you know.
Can I give him a bonus?
Yes, definitely.
I'm very good at playing Imperial Tarot. Well, yeah. I should hope so. So I know how to deal the cards out to give it a little bit.
Yeah, you can definitely take one stress and give an extra die to Zenith.
Yes. Yes, I will.
Okay, so since it's a game of sort of double bluff and sort of stuff like that, I'm going to attempt to make a case for using sway, because I'm trying to project and sort of manipulate the magistrate into like behaving the way I want, so I can play the cards I want, sort of thing.
Yeah. So you're talking, you're ordering drinks, and
looking out for any tells she's got, that sort of thing.
Being an affable person. Yeah. Let's see how the campaign has gone. And you're in a controlled position as per the engagement roll. So.
Okay, controlled. Effect standard, I presume.
Standard, yeah.
Do I get any bonus dice for Viper helping me out?
One from Viper, yeah.
Okay.
He's been helping you with the
2 5s.
Cards. 2 5s. So it's highest is 5. So you hesitate, withdraw, and try a different approach, or else do it with a minor consequence. A minor complication occurs. You have reduced effect. You suffer lesser harm. You end up in a risky position. So do you try something different because it doesn't seem to work, or do you push and make it work? However, there's the consequence.
I'm going to, since I'm trying to like lose, I'm going to push and go for the consequence.
Yeah. Okay. So I think the consequence in this instance is going to be nothing more than you succeed in your efforts. However, the magistrate is yeah. Well, I guess we'll like go into it. So you've just like bungled a hand of tarot, and the magistrate like puts down the like, haha, I had all 3 hegemons. You didn't know that, did you?
At which point I'm just going to look a bit flummoxed and I'll say, well, I can see I've obviously met my match in this game. What say another hand, double or quits, give me a chance to win some of my money back.
Of course. What did you say your name was again?
My name's Taylor.
Taylor. Well, Taylor, I suppose because she waves over the waiter or waitress, and it's like, please, 2 more green sunshines, and one for me and one for my unfortunate friend Taylor here. Taylor, put on your best smile. And she brings up this, like she punches a thing on her wristband, which is some sort of a communication device, and it's sort of like hollow selfie that she takes with you as she's like, smile, and then it's like, huh. And then she leans over a bit and takes a picture of you, both of you, and she hollers for the drinks, and the effect of that is 1 extra heat in this system.
It's fun.
Okay, so I'll put that down for Ren. And so you've had a fairly good time with the magistrate, and what happens?
I don't know whether we can get the doctor to make a roll for like doctoring her drink. If you bring over the green sunshines that she's trying to order, if you want to put something in there, as it has become our... If only you had some illicit drugs.
Yeah. If only you had barbital drugs.
So, that's 2 dice, wasn't it?
If you have 2 inductor, then yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then if you want to push, that's 2 stress for 1 die extra. Or if you want a devil's bargain, then...
She got a 1 and a 6.
Okay.
Well, that means we get a gambit.
Yeah, a 6 is very good. So yeah, you have successfully spiked, I suppose, 1 of these green sunshines instead of, or I guess like she would order like for the table. So like you probably spike hers then. Is it? Yeah. Okay, cool. So you've got the right combination. The drug is going to do exactly what you want it to, and it's going to be a different deal this time because the magistrate isn't an alien assassin, a hardened alien assassin.
Yeah, I know a bit more
Thank
about
the
her
maker.
physiology.
Yeah.
And I'm presuming, because obviously I'm paying close attention to the magistrate anyway, and I know she's going to be drugged, so I'll be looking for like when we can see the drugs kick in and she's getting a bit lethargic and a bit sort of sleepy, and then I'm going to tick one of my gear things to say that I've got a communicator, and I'll basically like sort of just like give almost like Morse code style, like give Jax like the signal that like now's the time to do the distraction, and hopefully we'll have arranged it so it's like at the far end of the casino, so like people's attention will be drawn there and we can just like and out the back.
Yeah. All right.
Who's she actually with?
She's talking to Zenith about the various.
So she's not got any cronies with her.
No, she doesn't have a chaperone. Presumably,
Perfect.
she's here because she has something going on with the local pasha of the Ashen Knives. So she's basically the casino security is her security. So At least that's probably what she thinks now.
And I presume we've got like the space hogs like waiting outside to like speed a getaway.
Oh yeah, there's the one of the guards with the fang mouth guard thing going on, who can lower it by like. Yep. Okay, so you've got the drugs. You bring them over. I suppose you serve the table. Yep. And Jax gets the Morse code for.
I was going to say, obviously, I won't do that until she's actually had the drinks and see the effect. And if necessary, I'll do the whole like, oh well, I'm gonna get this down me before I lose the shirt off my back, and like bang the drink down me.
Yeah, she drinks with you, drinks the whole thing in one. I imagine like Green Sunshine is like some sort of like large margarita in like with like fluorescent green stuff in it. So
sounds good to me.
Whole thing, and she's like, woo, like that's quite a bit more fancy than we used to do at the academy with the girls. And she like tosses the glass on the carpeted floor, which like it shatters, but it's not.
I'll be like, oof. I'm sort of mimicking her action. I'll be like, oof. Not had one of those. A Green Sunshine as good as that for ages. Another couple of those and like make it look like I'm getting around in, you know.
Yep. So
I'll
she
scurry over and clean up all that glass from off the floor.
Yeah. So
and bring around another lot.
Yeah, she sort of like half drunkenly sort of notices you taking the glass away. It's like, oh, that's for the ancestors and stuff. And just like turns away as like just disregarding you, aside from the side comments. And she's turning to Zenith to explain her brilliant strategy in obtaining the 3 hegemons in this game, which that doesn't like it was luck. It wasn't skill at all.
I'll be leaning in. I'll be like, oh right, yeah. I mean, any tips you can give me? I mean, obviously I need them.
So she's explaining to you the percentages of like when to fold and when to hang on to your cards, and how to count them so that you know when the hegemons should be up. And like she starts to slur a bit in her words as that happens, and you give Jax the Morse code, and we cut away from the table for a bit where Viper is just like listening to this incredibly convoluted and not really sensible strategy of how to win in hegemonic tarot. And we slide across the casino floor where Jax and some other folks with like halfway concealed blue stripes on their persons, like one of them is pulling the lever on this like gambling slot machine at the other end of the casino where the sort of less fancy folks gamble, and it goes to like wah, 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 like they lost their credits, and this person like starts yelling at the machine, brings out some sort of mining tool, and like gives it a good couple of whacks, and there's a security guard nearby who goes, hey, don't do that. And then it's a slow motion start of a barroom brawl as this security guard comes in to restrain this guy who's bashing the slot machine, and then Jax's other friends like jump on the security guard, and then it's just a accumulation of more and more people in this like pile of like fists being thrown this way and that, and there's a whole commotion that kicks off at the other end.
I'm gonna give the doctor like the nod towards the magistrate.
Right, yeah, I believe stage 2 of this plan involved a pillowcase, which I'll be pulling out from under some frilly bit of this ridiculous cocktail waitress outfit and pulling over her head.
So she's explaining that the the key to the red hegemon is.
At which point, as soon as the pillowcase goes over her head, I'm going to grab her off the doctor, and then I'm going to use the way to basically like boost me very quickly towards the back door, like holding
Okay.
onto her.
Yeah. So Mushishi gets the bag on, and then Zenith like grabs on and runs with the speed of the force. Rather, sorry.
The way.
Way. So Zenith runs with the way, making headway towards the exit way. And what do you do, Viper, Mushishi? He's already gone.
I clock out to go on my break, and then
Yeah, we'll just quietly walk out of the staff exit.
Mm-hmm. Give me rather, I will make one. No, rather, because you have the thing on your sheet.
Skulk.
So, someone. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I think one of you roll for your exit just to avoid scrutiny, and
That's
then
gonna be you, Viper.
if the other wants to help, you can do that with one stress for one extra die.
I could definitely use the assist.
Oh, actually, is it all right if I use one of the Watsits for my way power rather than my 2 stress? One of the Gambits.
Yeah, the Gambits.
Yeah.
And that is. How do you guys want to do this? Because it's a group resource. So do you want to discuss when one of you wants to use one, or do you just want to do it?
I'm happy
You're
that
doing
John will-
something to aid in the group, go for it. If you're doing
happy that
something
John
that's
will
going to
play.
screw over one of the others of us, we maybe need to sit and have a chat first.
Fair.
Yeah?
Fair.
Yep. So Zenith, feel
Cool.
free to do that.
So do I make the roll?
Yep. So Viper, if you want to roll for your and Mushishi's exit, and if
So
Mushishi
Mushi-
wants, it's one stress for an extra die to Viper.
To me?
Or you could use another Gambit.
Yeah, or you could use
Yeah,
the.
I've taken 1 stress to give you an extra dice, yeah?
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay.
Is this a risky? Alright, I'd say it's control. Though.
I
Perfectly fine.
think no, the control bit has passed already. You've used it to get the magistrate into position where she was until she was bagged from said position, and you are. I think you're now in a desperate position because you were at the actual table where this bagging happened, and you're gonna stroll away as if nothing happened.
You might want to use the Gambit as well, mate.
Yeah,
Gambit.
go for it.
How do I use the gambit in this?
I'll cross one off the ship
Right,
sheet and you
okay.
get an extra dice.
So I've got cool. So that's a total of +2.
Yeah, one from Mushishi and one from the Gambit. And if you want to push yourself or take a devil's bargain, then you can get one extra.
I'm gonna hold off for just yet. I'm not at the this is make or break.
Okay.
Oh, wait, but soon maybe.
Okay, so that is you do it, but there's a consequence. You suffer severe harm or serious complication occurs, and it's not going to be harm because no one's like aside from the Cobalt guys and the security, no one's throwing punches or shooting, so it's not going to be harm. It's going to be a consequence, and the consequence is going to be. It's not going to be immediate, but going forward, the Ashen Knives will be looking at the security footage here, and it's going to be 3 extra heat in this system. Do you want to resist that?
I'll try.
Okay. I think this might be prowess.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to basically, you're trying to go where the recording software doesn't necessarily pick you up.
Yeah, hopefully we'll get lucky.
Okay, one stress.
1 stress. Doing all right. I'm doing all right. I've rolled it out.
Yeah, your prowess is really good.
Mm.
Okay, so you guys meet at the staff exit, I guess.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but as far as I'm aware, the plan is basically to like knock the magistrate out completely, change her into like a generic miner's uniform, and then sort of drop her off somewhere in the mines.
Not necessarily drop her off. Make sure she gets a day's work in the mines. Hand her over to Jack's people to make sure she gets a day's work in the mines.
Okay, yeah, so we knock the magistrate out, we dress her up like a miner, and we drop her off with Jack's people.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. So basically, let's do one more roll for your portion of this thing, where you get her to Jack's
Okay.
smoothly. So, who wants to roll, and what are you rolling?
Go on, Viper.
Which are we? This is to palm them off, right?
Yeah, basically avoiding tails now.
Well, naturally, I'm going to get on the bikes and I'm going to use helm to steer us out of trouble.
So at the back, you have the hover bikes
Yes, we
set
did,
up,
we
which
did
is,
say
by the
that.
way, that is. I'm gonna say that's a one stress flashback for having put the bikes in the back.
I think we already mentioned about putting the bikes though.
We
didn't
did
we?
say that right near
Oh.
the start.
Good,
We did.
good. I had not processed that. So you're riding away.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to take a stress to give a Viper an extra dice on his roll.
Thank you so much. I'm guessing this is risky again or desperate.
This is risky. It's not desperate anymore because you're not in the casino.
Okay, so I get a bonus. 2 dice, right?
One die from
Oh, 1 dice.
Zenith,
The hogs. Hog it up.
like a bouse. Yeah, so you do it. So it's a montage of you guys riding off from the Green Sun Casino, where the fight is now spilling outside because the security guards are forcing the Cobalt ruffians to the street outside with like shock batons and things like that. So they get ejected. You made your way out from the back, and you meet back at the small warehouse with an unconscious magistrate, Omi.
Yeah,
And,
like say we'll have dressed her up in like a generic miner's uniform, then we'll just hand her over to Jax.
Yeah. And yeah, so Jax eventually comes in with like a couple of scuff marks here and there from the scrap at the casino, and he goes, "Well, I'm impressed. That was real smooth. Yeah, like if it's going to be like this every time, I will have a lot of work for you."
Well, I'm sure once you put the magistrate to work for a day in the mines, she'll change her tune about the conditions there.
And if not, she'll still probably not be too happy about how the whatever they were called, ashen daggers,
Yeah, ashen knives.
were looking after her
Mm-hmm.
in that casino
Mm-hmm.
with its marvelous security.
So he says, "I wouldn't have gone this route myself, but let's try it your way. So I suppose that's payday for you then. You did your part."
Yes, we did.
Okay, let me again refer to my thing here. So Jax pulls out a communication device, and he's punching some buttons on it, and he says, "I had set aside a sizable amount, and that was to cover for the fact that we were going in and just executing her.
We are complete footwits. Why did we not rob the casino on our way out?
Because that would have made the exit more complicated.
It would have probably given us more heat as well, as we'd have.
That's right on all three accounts. And also,
owned by a gang.
Also, my point of view, don't necessarily want to start shit with the ashen knives unless I need to. However,
also, Mushishi, do you really want like Viper to be pulling out his guns and me to be pulling out the lightsaber in a casino and it just going down?
I was more just thinking of picking up the chips off the table as we left, but hey, fair enough.
Jax interjects like, hey, if it goes that way, I will call you because you got in real smooth. So if we want to take out the treasury of that casino, we can probably make a plan for it. But for now, like I was saying, I set aside a sizable number of cred for the fact that we were going to go in and leaving a body on the floor. We didn't do that. So my business sense says the number gets reduced a bit. However, I want to give you the original amount, which is 8 cred worth, because I want to underline the fact that I mean business, and I don't care so much about the money in this instance. I care about the people here, and I can tell you do as well. We have a different approach, that's fine. However, I'm gonna need a lot of good people on my side going forward. So this is a token of goodwill and appreciation for fighting the good fight, even though we didn't leave bodies on the floor like I was planning to. We'll see how your thing works out. And he transfers the cred to you, so it's 8 cred.
So I suggest we take 2 cred each and put 2 cred in the ship.
That sounds fine. I'll ask Jax to address my 2 cred directly to whatever the local clinic is, and maybe suggest like what equipment they should be buying with it.
Hey, that's...
and I want to make sure Jax gets that statement because I'm really looking for some like cred with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he raises his brow and says, "Well then," and like adjusts the thing, and gives the device to one of his fellows and says, "Go ahead and run that down to the doctors at the hospital. Get them whatever they need." And the like, look, cab like it's a man, but it looks and moves like an armoire. And, takes the device and nods at Jax, like, scoots out the door, and Jax scratches his pockmarked cheek and says, "Well, that I didn't expect. So, good doctor, there's a lot that we have achieved today, and I hope you'll sleep well, knowing that you did what little we can do in this position that we find ourselves in. So, I suppose I will keep your Mushishi. You're muted. If you were trying to."
I just hope she learns her lesson, and if she hasn't learned the lesson, there are other places we can take her.
That's good. I suppose you
Darker
want
places.
I suppose
Which I have less problem with taking her to when she's had the opportunity.
That's fair enough. All right then. Who wants to get shit-faced?
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah. So
At this point, I'd like to just for flavour reveal that I've like
Yeah.
snagged a bottle of that green sunshine. Just be like,
Yeah. So it's a. I suppose it's a sort of underground club night with the miner folks, with
Why not?
the dock workers and the miners. They have a fair amount of contraband because they have muscled into the transport lines and whatnot. So they have a bunch of smugglers working on their payroll. So they have a lot of good stuff to party with, and it's a real nice time here with the folks on Aleph. They like to party because
Excellent.
they need to get away from it all because it's not that great
No.
in their line of work. Okay, so that would be that particular piece of work here, and then after doing the minor rave, I suppose, rave in the mines, which is a unique experience. You wake up in your chosen hovel / hotel, wherever you ended up, and you have your sort of thing on the side, which was to get with the 51st Legion and inform the Lieutenant Liara that there's the Church of Stellar Flame is planning something bad. So you have, because you're tight now with the Cobalt Syndicate, I will increase their status. Rather, with it, yeah, because I forgot it's automated in this, so it will increase if you do them one more job. They will like you much more. So you have been given information from them because they know the local place and who comes in, who goes out. So they know that there's a 51st Legion shuttle that touched down, and they can point you to that place, and you could accost the lieutenant on her way to wherever she's going here.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but to be perfectly honest, I'm just thinking about having like a data pad or whatever the equivalent is with like the original mission that they gave us to kidnap her. Just like bumping into her in the street and just like slipping it into her hand.
Slide it in.
Then she'd be like, "Oh, fuck's this," and like see the details, and then what she does with that is entirely up to her.
Entirely
But
up to her.
we've given her the information.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the plan. Who's gonna roll?
Doesn't draw too much attention to us.
Yeah,
and it gets in the key
that's the roll. That's the roll.
So who do we know in our group is particularly good at skulking?
If only there was someone.
If only there was a man amongst men who could skulk like the
man.
devil.
A man with a man's courage.
Indeed. If only we had like one gambit that was going begging that we may as well use before the end of this mission.
Yes. I shall skulk it up, brother.
And I will take a stress to give you an extra dice. And obviously I'll cross off the gambit, so you've got 2 extra dice.
Is this a risky situation?
This is desperate. You're trying to reverse pickpocket the lieutenant.
Okay. Right.
Could the doctor also take a stress to give him another dice?
I
What's a distraction?
wonder. Yeah, like fictionally, yes, but let's see. I think there was a thing about like if more than one person wants to help, then
I'm sure there was a limit.
You
Yeah,
set
I
it
think
up
it was
instead
only one person now that you say that, yeah.
Yeah.
So you've still got 2 extra dice.
Yeah. And if you wanted to push or take a devil's bargain, you could get 1 more.
I'm not ready for devil's bargain.
You may as well push yourself, mate. Got to push it real good.
Push it to the limit.
Push it. Yeah, alright. Take 2 stress.
Walk along the razor's edge.
Skulk. Risky situation. And 3 extra
No,
dice.
desperate.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, you're right.
It is desperate.
Just tried to obviously reverse engineer that. 3 dice. Come on, motherfucker.
Yeah, there's a 6.
I needed it.
So have you marked XP for your desperate rolls?
No.
So that's you've rolled Skulk twice as Desperate.
Yeah.
So that's
That's
2
in prowess.
in prowess, and you've rolled 1 Desperate Sway, which is
Yeah.
uh,
Resolve.
Resolve.
I like it.
Okay, so yeah, you do it. You, I suppose, Zenith is helping. Like, what is your plan? What does this look like with the lieutenant and her rather intimidating entourage when they're marching down and going towards an APC to head somewhere? What do you do?
So I'm thinking, like, with all my robes on and whatever, and I'll tick the religious robes like thing that I've got.
Yeah.
I'll do the like, I'm just an old man looking for direction. Stumble into a few of them, and then while they're like telling me to get lost, not shoving me out of the way, Viper can just move him by the side, like bump into him, and be like, oh sorry, palm the thing off on her and be on his way. And then I'll be like, oh sorry to bother you, and I'll just head off on my way.
Yeah, you do that, like begging bowl, like, oh,
Sparing arms for a poor blind miner.
yeah, I like it. Okay, yeah, so that is it. So Viper deftly stumbles into the lieutenant and
Yep.
into a satchel. The combat goes, and the lieutenant will realize that going forward. Yeah, you've accomplished your goal of helping Jax out in a way that Jax didn't even foresee or think about, and you've also helped the Lieutenant Liara of 51st Legion.
Well, we've given her the information. How she chooses to act on it is her deal.
I like to think of it as less helping her and more hindering the church.
Yeah. Yeah, messing with the church. Yep.
Yeah, forget those like way persecuting fools.
Yeah, yeah. They think you are a danger, Zenith.
Well, they're not wrong.
Yeah. Yep.
That went
is
almost too well.
Yeah, that went eerily well. Like, just success after success, and again and this is the thing, you can resist very easily. And Viper, you rolled so well in your resistance rolls tonight, and you could have easily just overclocked your stress.
Tanked it, yeah.
Yeah, with a couple of rolls, you could have gotten a trauma, but
that won't last. It won't.
Yep. The way was with us.
The way was here.
Well, at least now we've sort of realised how those gambits work. Like, I'm not going to be like, I've used the way 3 times. Oh, trauma.
Yeah, and now I'm stressed out. Okay, so let's do the downtime stuff here. Oh, so we have the payoff and upkeep. So you got the 8 cred, you divided that, so it's 1 cred to upkeep the ship.
Okay, so I'll take 1 off the ship's stash.
Yep. And then heat. It wasn't a legit job at all.
Nah.
So the license doesn't help here. And technically, because with the license, like, you need to tell someone. And I don't think you're trying to tell someone about this.
Also, we need to be on a bounty hunt, not just like bagging someone in a casino.
Bagging fools off the street.
To be fair, we handled it in a relatively professional and non-bloodthirsty way.
Yeah,
So,
which is, this would have been a different deal with the high heat, rather, if you had done what Jax wanted. Because he wanted maximum heat for maximum impact, and you figured maybe not. So it's 2 heat for this. It's a standard thing going in. So I'm adding 2 heat to the Rin system where you are now. That's 3 heat out of 8 now there. And let's see, the next step is entanglement. Cool. All right, so someone please give me a fortune roll, 1 die.
Okay.
And let's see what happens.
go ahead, John. I've done enough damage.
1.
A 1. Okay, ship trouble. Let's see what this is. Entanglements, here we go. Okay, ship trouble. A ship system acts up. Damage a system. The GM will tell you which. So you can repair it as normal, though you have to deal with the consequences of the damage at the time it occurs, but you're not necessarily flying it. So this entanglement can happen while in flight between planets or systems, or on the way to or from a job. Okay, so basically it's going to happen when we do the next bit.
Yeah.
So it's going to happen then, and we'll deal with it at that. I'll make a note.
I was going to say, I'll put a note in the ships bit.
Yeah, good.
So we've got a system problem.
Yeah, system is going to break down next time we do a thing. Okay. Then we have the downtime activities rather. So everyone gets 2, and the options are acquire asset, craft, indulge vice, lay low, long-term project, recover, repair, and train. And as we know, if you train your prowess with the gym on board your ship, you'll get 2 XP to mark on prowess instead of 1. You can also train insight and resolve, however you will get 1 instead of 2.
Indulging your vice reduces stress, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Okay, I will definitely be wanting to do that.
Yep. So that's number 1 action for Zenith. How about Viper?
How much does it reduce your stress to?
Okay, so let's deal with that then. So you roll the lowest of your insight, resolve, and prowess.
Okay.
And then it reduces it by the amount. Okay, so it reduces it by 5.
Sweet, down to 0.
How many did you have?
4.
Okay, so you overindulge if you reduce it by more than you
have. I got the taste for that gambling while we're in the casino. Yeah. What can I say, man?
Everything was good. You had a party. You did the thing with the lieutenant. You're feeling good. You go into another casino and you're like, yeah, I could do that. Yeah.
I'm like, look, I've still got the high roller clothes on. I've still got the cred stick. Why not?
Yeah. So, let's see. Where is it? Okay, page. So your options are, and you can choose one of these because you overindulge. So you make a bad call. The options are 1, rash action. Reduce your stash by 4, or if you can't or won't, the crew takes 2 debt. So either you spend mo of your money or you go into debt. And then the other option is big talk. You brag about your exploits, +2 heat in the current system.
Okay, in which case I have 4 creds in my personal stash, so I'm just going to spend all of them.
Okay, yeah. So you go on a it's a death spiral whereby you're like, I know I can do this. I know the chances, and then it just never works out.
That's fair. I've cleaned myself up.
Yep. And then the third option would have been that your character vanishes for a few weeks as you go on a bender, and you play a different character in that time.
No, I'll sit with losing the cash.
Yep. Okay.
See, so material wealth, cash.
Yeah.
Away adherent craves not these things.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So your other action, do you have an idea for
I would like to work on my project.
Okay, so you are... Where do you go to get your... Because the idea that I got from your project was that you want to use these artifacts to unlock the power.
I'll be focusing on my precursor artifact.
Okay, so we see you in your ship cabin, probably meditating and perhaps floating this hilt-like object. It looks like a torch of some kind that might extend
like a psionic blade.
Like a laser sword.
It will project maybe a plasma blade up to 4 feet. Yeah, so it floats in the air before you as you roll your attune, and we found out how well that goes.
Okay. What position is this?
It's just regular. Risky, standard.
Risky, okay.
Unless you want to have great effect and roll for desperate.
Oh, it's tempting.
Yeah, it could go badly though. Which is the trade-off, obviously.
I'll stick with standard for now.
Yep. Oof. It doesn't. And I think at this point, it's probably because you've failed both of your attempts at this now. I think it's probably becoming clear that you need to go back to the first one. You need to go back to the Emerald Heart and fix whatever's doing this to you, because your way flow has been all haywire since you tried to
way flow. Brilliant.
Even flow. So that's a thought that crosses your mind. That's not something that you absolutely need to, but it's been going weird ever since you tried to commune with the Emerald Heart. Okay, so your project doesn't advance. And then we have Mushishi next on my list. So you have 2 activities you can engage in. What do we do?
Can I just spend both on increasing my whatever the medical one was?
Yes.
I'll have 2 XP on that.
Is it insight? I don't have the sheet here. But
sorry, hang on. Yeah, it's insight for doctor, so just 2 extra on that. Grand. Sorted.
Right, so you dig into your materials. You study extensively, while Viper is doing what?
So mine's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to indulge my vice to bring down my stress a little bit, because being in that casino really got me the
you got to be careful, you might be joining me on Poor Street.
Yep.
And I will be training as well, doing some training.
So roll your lowest of insight, resolve, and prowess.
It's resolve or insight, really, I think, unless it count XP.
No, it's just the rating. So 4. So how many did you have?
Stress. Oh, I have quite a lot actually. 1, 2, 3, 7 stress.
7. Cool. So you reduce it by 4.
Okay, how do I get to reduce it? All right, I get it. Yeah, there we go.
Yep. So you're left with 3, and you didn't blow your entire cred stack. So.
All right. Stop rubbing it in.
And then you work out, or?
Do I have to put both XP into the same?
Yeah, it's if you want the 2 XPs, both of them are going into prowess. Because of the training facility gives you the extra, and it only gives it to you if you put it in prowess.
Does it fill up and then I get an extra one? Like, does it fill up and then I get?
Yeah, if the thing fills up, you can put an extra blip on one of the things under prowess.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, but that's what I'll do. So I'll get the full, but I've got like an extra training point left. So does that go over to the next?
Yeah.
I'll just leave 1 there. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So what are you advancing?
Skulk, I think. I did a lot of skulk.
So you're doing ninja exercises in the gym.
Yeah, just like stealthing it up. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're.
That's the one I've been working out the most recently.
Yeah. Cool. This feels like, because that's just the way that my brain works, is I conjured some imagery from like 80s bad ninja movies of like basically you doing like Arabic and being like, yeah, this is like, I'm getting all stretched out, and then I'm limber and I can be a ninja warrior. Good times. So that's that then. Do we want to start with, or maybe even complete, a real quick additional thing? I'm not sure about your guys' schedules.
Do we get to do playbook advancement as well?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I entirely. I was moving ahead with the quickness. So you have your triggers on your playbooks, and you get to decide if those apply. Okay. So at the bottom you have the mark XP thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So every time you roll a desperate action, yeah, we sort of dealt with that already.
So
And then
I'm definitely going for a couple of times addressing challenges with the wisdom of the way, because I was getting enough attune rolls in.
oh yeah, you did.
I feel like I
Some-
struggle with issues in my vice because I was in the casino.
It's not really struggling with it. None of that brought you problems, and you didn't
true.
even fail your thing. However, Zenith, you botched your vice.
And that will give me enough to fill up my playbook advancement.
Yeah.
I suppose I did express my beliefs, heritage, and background about the Legion and things.
Yeah, you did. And Mushishi did mow of that.
I think I did more of addressing tough challenge with insight or compassion as well.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yes.
It's definitely 2 for that.
Yeah. That was a lot of that happened.
So when you filled up your playbook, you just pick another special ability. Is that how that
Yeah,
works?
you can. Yeah, exactly.
Sweet.
And let me look at the sheet here.
I could go for Psyblade.
Oh boy. Let me quickly check because. So I'm looking at Mushishi's sheet here. Special abilities, blah blah blah. Because I think there should be advancements for all of the characters where you could pick what's called a veteran advance. I'm trying to figure out if that's true. Yeah. So every character, and I don't think this is laid out in the Roll20 sheet by default, but there's the button underneath your special abilities when it's listed all of the things. You have plus add. You can add special abilities onto that list, and you can do that by selecting a playbook advance and choosing the veteran advance. And what you can do that 3 times throughout your character's life. So you can pick veteran 3 times, and what that means is you can pick a playbook special ability from some other playbook. So that's also an option, and I just wanted to highlight that because it's not there by default on the Roll20 sheet.
Oh man, I've just been looking at the special abilities center. You gain meditation as a vice. When you indulge this vice, clear +1 stress and add dark visions as an overindulgence.
Yeah, you get to see dark visions of someone, their dark fate.
What do you reckon, guys? I'm torn between Psyblade, which is the focus the way into a sword, and Psy Dancing, which is like the Jedi mind trick. What do you reckon, guys?
Got to be the Jedi mind trick, surely.
I would have gone Jedi mind trick for that.
Okay,
Jedi mind trick.
Jedi mind trick it is.
I'm just here waiting for when you pick Sunder.
Yeah!
Unlimited, legally distinct power.
I can't picture the Doctor going for that somehow. If we're just like, oh, we need to go on a mission. Oh, how are we going to take this person out?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it
there-
never seemed to bother Padme.
Okay. So anyone else get their advantage on?
Yeah, I do.
Not this time, no. I'm a few off.
Yeah. Oh, let's look at the ship. So the ship gets, or rather you, the crew, get execute a successful extraction operation or capture of bounty. Yeah, you did extract the magistrate from the casino, so that's one.
I've added that.
Contend with challenges above your current station. That was true as well.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah.
Bolster our reputation. Certainly with Jax we have, and our heat's gone up considerably.
Yeah, and I think maybe because you're not bolstering your rep, because your rep is strange, and you haven't really gone into the whole like, yes, give me the alien artifacts. I will eat them and become God. And so you haven't done that yet. So I think you might be developing a new rep.
Okay.
And let's look at the options available to us. Okay, so it's not on that list, so I will refer to...
I think certainly we're probably going to get one for Express the Goals drives an inner conflict of the crew, given all the sort of like, shall we kill him? Shall we not? Shall we kill him?
Yes.
Shall we not?
Yes, I would suggest 2 for that, because
Boom, we're full.
It's your... I think it's your thing, and I think it's also what we're going to do with the reputation here. So let me look at the options. So crew creation. Where is it? Okay, here. So yeah, of course we can create our own, but the options offered to us are ambitious, brutal, daring, honorable, professional, savvy, strange, and subtle. Do you guys feel like any
We're
one of
either
those?
strange or we're honourable. Let's face it.
Yeah, so strange we already have. So
I'd
I
say
guess
honourable.
Yeah, little from Call
Yeah.
of Duty.
I guess we're going with honorable. So you have developed a new rep as a strange and honorable bunch of bounty hunters / kidnappers with a conscience.
And since we filled the playbook in, do we get a new special ability for the crew?
Yes, you can pick from the special abilities on the sheet there.
What do we reckon then, guys? We've got on the trail, the crew gains an extra downtime activity to work on a long-term project or require assets. Light touch, we gain potency when tailing a target or gathering info. Snatch and grab, when you use deception, infiltration or social plans to execute a kidnapping. Add +1 dice to the engagement roll, that might be a goer. Loaded
That does seem to be our MO at the minute.
The other one I'd suggest might be useful is play both sides. When you release a bounty target, they become a crew contact. So like if you capture someone and you let them go, they become a contact.
Yeah.
That does seem more our kind of...
Because
drive at the
we've
moment.
already done that at least once. But I can also see the snatch
We've
and
tried
grab.
to snatch and grab twice as well, though.
Yeah. What do you reckon? Snatch and grab then, guys?
Snatch and grab it in.
Okay.
Either one's good.
Boom, snatch and grab.
Yay. And I think there's, and let me just check, does the ship, yeah, the ship also has veteran advances, so if you want to branch out at some point, you can also select from other crew
Nice.
types. Okay, so that is that adventure. It was slightly different because we did have a bit more of the discussion up front rather than just like cutting to outside the motel like we did last time. But
I mean, like I said,
Quality, many thanks, Johannes.
yeah, I mean, like I said,
Really good game.
I'm obviously happy to chat for a while, but I don't think I'll have time to get like another
yeah,
mission in.
yeah, we don't need to. Any ideas on what you would like to do next? I can obviously just like bring in stuff. I can do that very easily, but do you have an idea on what you guys would like to work?
I'm thinking we should snatch and or grab something.
I think that might be wise.
No, I'm going to suggest to the guys, since I'm obsessed with these way artifacts, I'm going to suggest we go and find that Emerald Heart or whatever it's called, and we try and find out. We sort of try and follow the trail back to like maybe where that came from, find out where it originated.
Yeah, and you know where the where it was dug up, and that was on Shemaya, the desert planet.
Yeah. Plus, we can go and talk to the professor. So we know him.
Yeah. So, would you then like to have an extraction mission whereby you are going to extract some artifacts from the desert? Would that be
I think that'd be a nice change of pace from the old like smash and grab and.
Yeah. There's no way this could go wrong.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
The desert's definitely not going to be full of like Mad Max biker gangs or anything. Definitely not.
yeah, yeah,
Please, yes.
Definitely no sandworm.
yeah. No, no. It's literally mentioned in the description of Shimaya that there's vendors out there selling sandworm kebab on the streets. So
Yeah.
Right. So mission next time we go and find the professor, possibly bring him along if he's interested.
Yeah.
Then we go and do like a bit of an archaeological
yeah,
exploration on Shemaya.
yeah, that sounds great.
Excellent.
I feel like that session was like an hour and a half shorter because we smashed the rolls today.
Yeah, no,
I
that
feel
was
like we
that was
got
great.
lucky.
But sometimes
got
it goes
lucky.
like this. Sometimes you just like, you guys have started both of these with controlled positions as well. So sometimes it just goes like everything falls into place, and you had a very, like, let me tell you, it would have gone very differently if you had listened to Jax, like walked in, shot the magistrate in the head. There would have been a lot more.
I feel like my just cursory research really showed that we had to think about this. Just like there's a lot of variables in this situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that was fine, and I'm perfectly happy with how it turned out.
I very much enjoyed it. Thank you very much for running it.
I always enjoy it.
I see my character as having been like Tripitaka this mission. You two are there like Monkey and Pigsy, ready to fucking smash it in, kill it, whatever it is, and I'm there going, no, we have to be peaceful.
And I think on that bombshell, I'm going to stop the recording.